The following is an exclusive presentation of Jefferson Pilot Sports.
The battle for number one. The two highest-rated teams in the Atlantic Coast Conference going head-to-head in an all-important college football war. Duke, the conference preseason last-place pick, puts its surprising 7-0 record up for grabs. And Florida State, the defending national champion, takes an unbeaten 21-0 conference record and places it high on the battle stand. Next on ACC Football Today, the full moon is out. It's Halloween in Tallahassee, and we're set for some college football. You want monsters? Yeah, we have monsters. We have some Devils, and we have some Seminoles. So come in and take a peek. But you don't have to run and hide, for all eyes are on Tallahassee as Duke tries to slay the giant, Halloween style. Next.
I'll be in your face all day long, baby, all day long. Can't nobody get me out.
Jefferson Pilot Sports presents ACC Football Today with Mike Hogwood. An inside look at Atlantic Coast Conference football. Brought to you by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, the vision to power your dreams. By Delta Airlines, the airline of ACC country. You'll love the way we fly. And by Pepsi. Be young, have fun, drink Pepsi.
As is usual here in Tallahassee, full house expected at Doak Campbell Stadium as we get ready for Duke and Florida State. It's cool, it's overcast. It's what you'd call a perfect fall day for football. Hi, everybody, and welcome to ACC Football Today. I'm Mike Hogwood, and boy, have we got some excitement today. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season that the Duke Blue Devils would come into this game with Florida State 7 games into the year undefeated? Nobody. A lot of people picked them for last place, but the Blue Devils are for real. We'll take a look at the football standings in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and you'll see that Duke is right there with Florida State. NC State is also undefeated, and they've got a big game today as well. You move on down the standings, North Carolina with 2 losses. That's a surprise to some. Wake Forest, Georgia Tech still looking for their first win in the ACC. There are some other games today. In Death Valley, the Wake Forest Deacons and Clemson Tigers will square off. Maryland playing outside the league against Tulane. And what about that big rival game, NC State and North Carolina in Chapel Hill? Remember, the Wolfpack still undefeated in the league and still with a shot at the ACC title. But I'll tell you one thing, everybody's talking about this game today, Duke and Florida State. My, what a year it's been for Fred Goldsmith and the Devils. They've gotten a lot of confidence every week. They're coming in here to Tallahassee believing they can beat Florida State.
Well, I kind of believed in our kids when we started. It was all the media that picked us dead last in the league. I felt like that, coming, we had more talent than we did a few years ago at Rice. There is more talent on this football team than people gave them credit for when we began the year.
One of the players that has risen to the challenge is Robert Baldwin. Entering the season, Baldwin had rushed for only 661 yards and 8 touchdowns in his career. With 921 yards and 11 touchdowns in 94, Baldwin should become the 3rd running back in Duke history to rush for 1,000 yards in a season.
First and goal at the 2-yard line. A gain of 6 for Baldwin on that play. Gets the call again. Touchdown, Duke.
Intensity is a Florida State trademark. Derek Brooks and company are allowing only 97 yards per game on the ground. They are ready for Duke.
I'm scared to say anything about this Duke team. I mean, who would have thought they'd have been 7-0 right now? They hadn't done it since 1941, and so if they can't beat Florida State, don't say it too loud.
And what a job that man has done. Fred Goldsmith, in his first year at Duke, still without a blemish on the loss column. Has coached many games here at Doak Campbell Stadium. Used to be an assistant here in Tallahassee at Florida A&M. Fred Goldsmith, certainly a real bright spot in ACC football this year. And Bobby Bowden, what can you say about the man who led Florida State to a national championship a year ago, has never lost a conference game since Florida State joined the ACC, and he certainly doesn't want to start today, but Bobby Bowden has said he is worried about this game against the Duke Blue Devils this afternoon. As we edge closer to kickoff, you know we're going to see some big plays in this game today. Hey, one thing, I knew we saw some big plays last week around the league. Let's take a look right now.
Some big plays by the Duke defense against Wake Forest. David Hawkins hits Rusty LaRue. Fumble, and what John Zwanich, number 26, picks it up and runs all the way. 62 yards for a Duke touchdown.
He'll look to his right, wants to throw to his right. It is caught, and a tackle made immediately at the 29. Wow, what a hit.
Yeah, what a hit. What a play by Florida State's Corey Fuller. What a play by Joe Pickett. Passing to the cutting Corey Thomas. Super catch, and then a strut to the end zone. Yes, that's a big play. Wake Forest had some big plays against Duke in this game. Watch number 81. Freshman Tabiti Tavis plays defender, draws him left. It makes a great one-hand grab for a touchdown to the knees. Mike Grove, Virginia stumbles, but a perfect pass to Tyrone Davis for a touchdown. Nice dance, Tyrone. Wake Forest, a pass to Dan Ballou. Tipped up in the air. Intercepted by Sidney Wells. Wells goes 27 yards for a score. Point straight to Tallahassee. The Devils beat the Deeks. Duke stays unbeaten. Hey, how about our Halloween pumpkin? Kind of reminds me a little of our producer, David Barringer. Hey, some Halloween headhunters coming up.
In business, there never seems to be enough of it. And the last thing you can afford to do is run out of it. Time. So rest assured, Delta Airlines will help you make the most of it. With over 4,900 flights a day to over 300 cities around the world. And best of all, we'll make sure you arrive relaxed and refreshed with plenty of time to spare. Delta Airlines.
So you've done Big Bet.
Tally hold it.
So you've done the South Pole.
Polarized it.
So you've done the Sphinx.
Sphinxed it.
But have you done the Do? So you've never done nothing. Till you do the full tilt taste of Diet Dew.
Drink it. Drink it. Down it. Do this.
Does your family love to go out dancing? Buick LeSabre, the full-size car that swept the IntelliChoice Awards for 95 unbeatable style, loaded with luxury, all for under $21,000. For the highest in customer satisfaction, see your Florida Buick dealer now.
Mike Hogwood back with you on ACC Football Today, and there you see just a little while ago, Chief Osceola getting the war paint on, getting ready to ride Renegade, one of the traditions here. And hey, there he is live in his full regalia. You see that spear in his hand. He'll be throwing that down at midfield in just a few minutes. And I'll tell you, these fans will come out of their seats and go crazy as they're doing the original tomahawk chop. This is where that chop started, right here in Tallahassee. And you sense a certain extra anticipation and excitement about this game. And why not? Two undefeated teams in the Atlantic Coast Conference playing for first place. There's a lot of high drama getting set to happen here in Tallahassee. When you talk about keys to this game, you got to talk about defense. Guys like Ray Farmer, who's the strong safety for Duke, a super athlete. He will be having a tough time trying to track down some of those Florida State receivers, and he will be head-hunting today. Now, the headhunter for Florida State is All-American candidate Derek Brooks, one of the really great linebackers in the country. Derek Brooks, a super headhunter. And it's with Derek Brooks that we'll head to our headhunter Halloween story. Come in, everyone. Welcome to the ACC Football Today Halloween tale. But don't be frightened. There are no bats in the house. It's a beautiful sunny day. So take your own sweet time and listen to our Halloween rhyme. When the full moon is out, all the headhunters come out. And your weary heart may skip a beat when Randy Neal comes prowling for meat.
It's like I go from being Randy Neal to Jeffrey Dahmer. It's just like I want to just see this guy and just pound on him, to tenderize the meat before I get ready to eat him. I just want to go out there and just crush him and just let him know, hey, that guy Neal, he hit me kind of hard. He tackling me. Just want to leave him with an impression.
And you better look twice, but don't be so brave. For Ray Farmer, he'll drive you to your grave.
Being intense on the field is great. It's just a great feeling. You go out there and see a guy, he's not really paying attention to you, and just run through him and level him.
And then there is the man named Brooks who feeds on fellow humans. A madman coaches need to fear, but Bowden, his master crewman.
Derek Brooks is one of the most intense football players we've ever had at Florida State. But he's one of those guys, he's a coach on the field, a great football player, great speed, but his intensity, level, and fire, he's always on fire. There's a fire down there burning all the time, and he plays every down like it's his last one.
Sound of battered flesh that hurts with every blow. The hunters growl with every breath to throw a horror show. Beware of some headhunters in our game today as you get set and look at some Florida State players loosening up, getting ready to search out some heads. And those successive headhunters get rewarded. They can become our ACC Players of the Week. 1 week ago, it was Scott Milanovich, a back of the week, had a great game for Maryland against Georgia Tech. James Ferrier, an interception, 2 pass breakups to lead Virginia over North Carolina. Lineman of the week, Jerron Eggy of Duke. Hey, he is a great lineman up front, leading Duke in that rushing attack. And Derek Alexander helped manhandle that Clemson offense. Rondé Barber of Virginia is a rookie of the week, intercepted a pass for the Cavaliers. And Will Bryce, specialist of the week, had 5 punts for a 46-yard average against North Carolina. Coming up, Spence Fisher. He's the subject of On the Sidelines, and that's what we'll do next on ACC Football Today.
Serious damage to your engine can happen during startups when your engine is cold. So for a motor oil to protect your engine, it must get to work fast. Exxon Superflow Synthetic Blend does. It also protects better against thermal breakdown. It is less expensive than full synthetics. A difference you can see. Exxon Superflow Synthetic Blend. Protection beyond conventional oils for all the ways you drive.
Nissan does it again. Get ready, because everything's on sale. If it's on our lot, it's on sale now. 95 Nissan Maximas at $240. On sale. 95 Nissan Quest and Sentra. On sale. 95 Nissan trucks in a tremendous new selection of colors. Even the most popular car on the market, the 95 Nissan Altima, is on sale now. Incredible inventory, great selection, and special financing. You snooze, you lose. Because everything's on sale now at Courtesy Nissan. Highway 90 West at the Capitol Circle.
Mike Hogwood back with you on ACC Football Today, and you see what is soon to be a packed house at Doak Campbell Stadium, getting ready for the battle of conference undefeateds, Duke and Florida State. Of course, the Seminoles already have one loss against the Miami Hurricanes a couple of weeks ago, but still a chance to keep that conference unblemished mark intact, and that's what they're set out to do today. One of the keys for Duke is going to be get their offense to mix it up a little bit, and the key man at the controls is Spence Fisher. Steve Martin had a chance to visit with him on the sidelines.
Spence, what is different about this season from the previous two that you've experienced as a member of the Duke Blue Devils?
Well, that's pretty easy, just wins and losses. We're undefeated now, and we're playing with so much confidence right now. It's just so much different than it has been in years past. And you know, in particular with this game with Florida State, this game really means something. And in years past, it hasn't. And this is going to be a good indication of how good we are.
You know, you've gone through the season. You are 7-0 as you approach this game. A lot of people pick this team to finish dead last in the ACC. I'm sure you had some thoughts as to where you'd finish before the season started, but was there a point in the season that was a watershed mark? Was it a game that said, hey, we're not a bad football team at this point in time. Maybe we're worthy of being undefeated in national ranking?
Well, I would say the Clemson game, because that was just a stepping stone for us. It gave us 6 wins, which solidified a winning season, and that was our first goal. And I think from there, you know, we believed that we could compete and beat quality teams such as Clemson, and have the confidence to come in here to Florida State and try and upset them too.
Talked with Coach Heimerdinger earlier this week about your performance as quarterback, and I said, what does Spence Fisher throw particularly well? And he said, you know, it all depends on what his mood is, how he feels that particular day. Talk about that.
Well, you know, I really enjoy the offense that we're doing right now, and it's really a short, controlled type passing, and that opens up the deeper routes. And I like to throw the deeper routes, and you know, this offense is just a lot of fun, and we're getting everybody involved, and that's good.
Has Robert Baldwin having such a successful season made your season a little bit easier?
No question about it. He's just really taken a lot of pressure off not only myself, but the offensive line. It really takes some steam out of the pass rush, and just adds another dimension to our offense.
In a nutshell, what is the biggest problem that you're going to face this afternoon against Florida State?
I think it's counterbalancing their speed. They're just so fast at all positions on defense, and you know, with the noise that's going to be here tomorrow, that's going to be another factor that we need to be aware of and try and communicate well. And if we score in the red zone, I think we can come out of here with a win.
Spence Fisher, very confident about what the Duke Blue Devils can do today on offense, and they're going to need confidence from the Blue Devil quarterback in order to succeed today. We're privileged to have with us on our show today is the supervisor of the officials in the Atlantic Coast Conference, Assistant Commissioner Bradley Faircloth. And I see your guys out there loosening up, getting ready for this game.
Getting ready to go, Mike. They need a little loosening up.
Sometimes we all do at times.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let's talk about the league this year, and I know from the league office in Greensboro, it must be really fun to sit back and watch all your media friends pick Duke last, and here they are 7-0 7 weeks in.
Well, Mike, you know, the media people know a lot about officiating, and it seems like this year they sort of got crossed up in regards to the way they picked the teams, because Duke has certainly crossed them up.
Oh, you've learned by now we know everything about everything in this game.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that, but you do know a lot about a lot of things.
Right. Let's talk about the league as far as football is concerned. It's been Commissioner Corrigan's goal to really improve football in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and I really think even in this year it's a mark that he has achieved that with as many ranked teams as we've had.
Well, I remember distinctly when he came in, the first staff meeting we had when he got everyone together, he told us that was one of his particular aims. We had a great basketball program, one of the leading programs in the country. He said, now we need to work on football. And that's exactly what he did, and I think this is a result of it. What you're seeing here today, Duke coming back the way they have, and certainly the other teams, parity in the league. I think he's accomplished his goal. Our recognition insofar as the bowl games that we've been going to, he's done a lot for ACC football.
Bradley Faircloth, let you get up and enjoy your seat and enjoy the game today. You're the point man on football. Congratulations on a great job, and I think we got a good one today.
Thanks, Mike. Nice to be with you.
All right, we'll be back. More ACC football today live from Tallahassee in just a minute.
Trouble getting into your jeans? Try Relax Fit Jeans from Lee.
Bonjour, class. Ça va? Here we go. Let's just
A lot of people bank at First Union, and they're individuals, each and every one.
Crayon.
So that's why we've customized checking accounts, individually designed loans, and personalized banking. Because at First Union, we try never to forget that banking is about relationships. That's service. And at First Union, when it comes to service, everything matters.
How incredible a value is the all-new Eagletown? This is exciting. Certified government accountant Warren Kruger is here to help us find out. Take it for a spin. Come on. He's off. Warren, the wonder accountant, is back. Warren, what do you think?
Accountant's great. 140 horsepower engine, dual airbags, double wishbone suspension.
What would the U.S. government pay for something like this?
14 million tops.
Shouldn't that decimal point be over there?
Yeah.
Test drive a Talon at your Jeep and Eagle dealer or call us.
Too cool.
Where's the heat?
Better call Garrett.
Better call Garrett.
If you're too cool, call Garrett.
A rich heritage and exciting future. Eyewitness News is proud to serve North Florida and South Georgia. It's coverage you can count on, only on WCTV.
Welcome back live to Tallahassee as we start getting ready for Florida State and Duke. I'm in the tunnel, which is where the Florida State players will be running out in just a few minutes, and they'll be getting fired up. And when they come out, this is what they're going to see. This place is going to be packed. A full house here at Doak Campbell Stadium. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of an intense feeling here because both teams are undefeated in the league. Now, two people who you're going to be hearing a lot from today are sitting right up there in the press box. Steve Martin and Jack Corrigan, our game announcers. Hi, guys.
Hey, Mike. Are you going to ride the horse out of that tunnel, too? Just asking. I mean, there'd be a change of effect, that's for sure. But this is going to be an excellent football game today. You know, when you talk about Duke and Florida State brings to mind an explosive offense. And you look at Duke and you say, well, they're not an explosive team on offense, but they make some big plays on defense.
Well, they are one of the best teams in the country at forcing turnovers. In fact, they are fourth in the country in the plus-minus turnover margin. These two guys primarily responsible, Ray Farmer and David Hawkins. They've made big plays all year for them. Last week against Wake Forest, the defense scored 3 touchdowns. Hawkins with a sack there, forcing a fumble recovered by Curtis Bunch for a touchdown. He forced another fumble for a touchdown in that ball game. They've done an outstanding job of creating turnovers, and the offense doesn't make many turnovers. That's why they're undefeated.
That's right. They had 3 scores for touchdown last year out of their defense last week. They've had 1 prior to that with Ray Farmer, and all told, they have 5 scores if you count a safety caused by their defense. Now, Florida State has pretty good defense as well. They pitched a shutout against Clemson a week ago, and the 2 Derricks are the people that we'll be looking at today.
Well, Derek Brooks and Derek Alexander, 2 of the greats in the country. They do an outstanding job. They have great speed. Brooks at linebacker and Alexander at defensive end. They are going to be the guys that are going to try and shut down Rob Baldwin of Duke. Baldwin, one of the top rushers in the country, currently number 7 in the NCAA. The only time he's been under 100 yards this year was against Clemson, who did a good job of shutting down the running game. That's Florida State's aim this afternoon. Force Spence Fisher to win the ball game for Duke. They don't want Rob Baldwin to control the action.
Now, both defense need to execute today. We're looking forward to it. Now back to the floor of the stadium here at Doak Campbell and Mike Hogwood.
Yes, and Steve, in answer to your question, no, I will not be riding Renegade. I'd like to show up at the game next week and live to tell about it. Okay. There is another big game today. That is in Chapel Hill, NC State, North Carolina. Big rival game, particularly big because NC State undefeated in the conference so far.
Being here 4 years, I know a lot more about it. Coming in as a freshman, didn't know much more about it. But, I mean, it's a heated rivalry, and, I mean, look forward to that game every year.
I can't stand Carolina. I can't stand them. I don't like anything about them. I just get tired of hearing so much about Carolina. Carolina this, Carolina that. Everywhere I go, I see Carolina blue.
It would be nice just to totally just do away with them, you know.
It's definitely a very, very intense time of the season for us, and there's a lot of pride riding on that game.
State and Carolina, we usually hang out at the same places, and bragging rights do mean a whole lot.
I guess we'll just have that natural hate against each other. You know, both of us being in state, both of us being so close to each other. You know, it's just one thing that's, you know, it's been developed in the past, and we just got to, you know, play it every year. It's always going to be, you know, a hype game for us.
That's later today in Chapel Hill. Right now, the #1 Florida State fan, Brad Reynolds, former player here on the sidelines with us today. And as you can tell, he's pumped up about this game. We are too. Florida State Duke. Talk more about it next.
Okay, these guys are the party people. I mean, look at them. They are hungry. So then these guys here, they're the host team. They send this guy over here to Hardee's for fresh fried chicken. It's the perfect play. Hardee's chicken deal is just $5.99. 8 pieces of chicken and 4 biscuits, only $5.99. Okay, watch the replay. 8 pieces of Hardee's chicken and 4 biscuits, only $5.99. So when these guys come rushing in, here's all this chicken to tackle. When you toss a party, make the big play. Have plenty of Hardee's fried chicken to pass around.
Ford flat puts the hurt on the competition. Did you realize that the Ford F-Series is America's #1 selling truck? You talk about total dominance. Maybe today, just like FSU, they're on top. The best built truck you'll find, Ford F-150, that's tough. And the price is going to be right. Your Southern Ford dealers have their priorities in order. To them, you're #1. Woo, boy.
And yes, I have made a commitment to serve only one term. It's a commitment that I made with my wife. I'll pursue my dream. Then we can come back and you can pursue your dream.
Bill Clinton is the only candidate for president who really feels our pain.
ACC Football Today has been brought to you by Exxon, where people are stopping by for the reliable performance of Exxon 93 Supreme Gasoline. Rely on the Tiger. By Lee Apparel, maker of regular, relaxed, and easy-fit jeans and casual pants. Lee is the brand that fits. And by First Union. When it comes to service, everything matters.
You can look at that crowd and sense some of the excitement that's here today as we get ready for the game between Florida State and Duke. Now, next week, we'll have a couple of games that we're going to be showing you. I want you to check your local listings for the game that's going to be seen in your area. It will either be Virginia and Duke from Durham, and that's where we will be originating this show, or some of you will see Florida State and Georgia Tech from Atlanta. Check your local listings for the game that will be shown in your area. Virginia and Duke or Florida State, Georgia Tech. Right now, we've got the battle of conference unbeatens. It's Duke and Florida State, and it's coming up next. Thanks for joining us on ACC Football Today. I'm Mike Hogwood. Enjoy the game. So long, everybody.
What's the real story? Ford claims Ranger is built tough, but Chevy makes the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Ford claims quality is job one, but the S-Series pickup was rated Best Buy. Ford wants to know if you've driven one lately. Chevy says, why bother? The S-Series has more horsepower and a bigger payload capacity. Now, own a 95 S-Series with standard driver's side airbag for $189 a month. Built Ford tough? Well, that's not tough enough. Get your Chevy S-Series at your Southern Best Chevy Geo dealers.
Zell Miller tells us he's reformed welfare. Come on, Zell. Under your plan, only a few welfare recipients are required to work 1 hour a day. 85% don't have to work at all, and welfare is up 42%. We're ready for a change. Guy Milner has a plan for real welfare reform. Tough new time limits on benefits. Then a requirement to start work immediately. Because work is the best welfare program of all. Guy Milner, Governor.
Focus on. Information concerning our community. Focus on. Newsmakers from around the state. Focus on. National events brought home to you. For an in-depth look at topics in today's news, watch Focus On, Sunday morning at 8:30 on WCTV. Your friends at WCTV remind you to move your clocks back 1 hour tonight. ACC Football, brought to you in part by Southern Ford Dealers.
The Florida State Seminoles, defending national champs, undefeated in ACC play with a record 21 straight wins, and the favorite to win a third straight conference championship. They've been top gun, but now there's another team shooting for that #1 spot, the Duke Blue Devils. I didn't catch that. Did you say Duke? Yes, that's right. The Blue Devils are 7-0 after being picked for last place in the ACC in some preseason polls. One of 3 undefeated conference teams and off to their best start in over 50 years. They have a devilish grin as they get ready for the big showdown in Tallahassee. Duke and Florida State next.
Jefferson Pilot Sports presents the best in regional college football, the Atlantic Coast Conference. Today's Exxon ACC Game of the Week is brought to you by Exxon, where people are stopping by for the reliable performance of Exxon 93 Supreme Gasoline. Rely on the Tiger. By Delta Airlines, the airline of ACC country. You'll love the way we fly. By Lee Apparel, maker of regular, relaxed, and easy-fit jeans and casual pants. Lee is the brand that fits. By Pepsi, be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. By First Union, when it comes to service, everything matters. By Hardee's, your tailgating headquarters and a proud partner with the Atlantic Coast Conference. By CarQuest Auto Parts. For the CarQuest store nearest you, call 1-800-492-PART. And by your Carolina Chrysler Plymouth dealer, home of the minivan store.
Welcome to Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, Florida, where Jefferson Pilot Sports brings you the Exxon ACC Game of the Week between the Duke Blue Devils and the Florida State Seminoles. A glance at the standings shows you just how important this game is. There are 3 remaining unbeatens in the ACC, and 2 of them take the field here this afternoon against each other. Steve Martin here along with Jack Corrigan, and of course, Duke is the team that probably doesn't feel at the beginning of the season that they belonged here, but they're here to prove that they belong here now.
Well, the odds makers still don't, because they're more than a 3-touchdown underdog today. But hey, give them a lot of credit. With the schedule they had, they went out and proved that they belong, and a victory today would certainly make a difference. One of the key factors, quarterback Spence Fisher has been consistently accurate out of that quarterback spot. 9-2 in his last 11 ball games, with only 5 interceptions in more than 340 attempts.
Of course, Florida State in a bit of quarterback quandary this week. Of course, Danny Cannell is a starter, but he got a stern lecture as the week went by.
Well, Danny Cannell looked like last week he was playing not to make mistakes instead of playing aggressively and playing confidently. They worked very hard on getting him back in terms of confidence going into this ball game. They need a big day from him.
They need a big day from him. They need a big day from their kicking game, and that's a problem at Florida State. When we come back, Mike Hogwood will tell us all about the Florida State kicking situation.
People stopping by.
With a new Exxon MasterCard, you can earn unlimited rebates for free gasoline. And the more you use it at Exxon, or for other purchases like meals, travel, shopping, the more free gasoline you'll earn.
People stopping by.
There's no annual fee either, so apply at Exxon, where cash and credit prices are now the same.
People stopping by to rely on the Tiger.
In business, there never seems to be enough of it. And the last thing you can afford to do is run out of it. Time. So rest assured, Delta Airlines will help you make the most of it. With over 4,900 flights a day to over 300 cities around the world. And best of all, we'll make sure you arrive relaxed and refreshed with plenty of time to spare. Delta Airlines.
It's Halloween. There'll be tricks
Igor.
and treats.
Igor.
Because
Just now, when you stock up on Pepsi and Doritos, you'll find coupons for savings on Hershey's candies. It's the perfect recipe for a...
I've got money in my clothes, money in your clothes, and music in my ears, music in your ears, and love, oh love, sweet love is in my heart. Oh, love is in your heart. Money in my clothes, music in my ears, 'cause my baby loves me when I've got money in my clothes.
Refurbished Doak Campbell Stadium is about to fill up to 75,000, and they're ready to cheer the entry of the Seminoles to this field. Kicking will be an important aspect of today's game with probable questionable weather. Here to talk about it are Mike Hogwill.
Steve, Dan Mowry will be the starting kicker today for Florida State. Scott Bentley has been it since he came here over a year ago. Bentley, highly touted, coming in on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Last year had an inconsistent season, but certainly was great in that national championship game. In the Orange Bowl, it was Bentley who kicked the winning field goal, but last week against Clemson missed 2 chip shots from around 20 yards out, so the change was made. They'll go with Mowry today. Mowry, of course, the guy who kicked that shot wide right against Miami that might have cost them the national championship a couple of years ago. Here come the Seminoles onto the field here at Doak Campbell Stadium. Undefeated in the Atlantic Coast Conference, battling for first place. We'll have the kickoff. Duke and Florida State from Tallahassee next.
Trouble getting into your jeans? Try Relax Fit Jeans from Lee.
Is that a new credit card?
It's my new First Union check card. It's got great and wondrous value.
What's it do?
It's magic. It's like a check. It pays for our lunch, takes the money right out of my checking account.
Ooh, clever card.
And buy some gas, some groceries. It's even an ATM card. I can use it to get money here, anywhere else in the world, 24 hours a day.
Let's go.
Where?
Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking dinner in Rome.
Yeah, sure. I'm thinking somewhere closer to home. Give me that card. Excuse me.
Get all the value of the card that works like a check. The check card from First Union.
Okay, these guys are the party people. I mean, look at them. They are hungry. So then these guys here, they're the host team. They send this guy over here to Hardee's for fresh fried chicken. It's the perfect play. Hardee's chicken deal is just $5.99. 8 pieces of chicken and 4 biscuits, only $5.99. Okay, watch the replay. 8 pieces of Hardee's chicken and 4 biscuits, only $5.99. So when these guys come rushing in, here's all this chicken to tackle. When you toss a party, make the big play. Have plenty of Hardee's fried chicken to pass around.
We're at the Chrysler test track along with off-duty police officer Kirk Harris to test drive the performance of the 3.5-liter 24-valve Eagle Vision. You think he can handle all that power, officer? We're trained to go fast. Well, you have a nice day, then. That was great. Those 214 horses really moved. What did you get the speedometer up to there? You know, I don't know. I wasn't paying much attention. Hell, I was. I'm going to need you to step out of the car, sir. Let's go.
Now get up to $1,100 off select Eagle Visions.
Florida State, Chief Osceola, top renegade. That's Andy Taylor. In the costume, plants the flaming spear, and Burt Reynolds, the running back here in the 50s, stirs the crowd's emotions as he shows them the spear, and we're ready to go for football. Duke has won the opening coin toss, and they've decided to defer until the second half. Tom Cochran will be kicking off for the Duke Blue Devils. Duke hoping to take advantage, Steve, of the inconsistencies on offense and try and put Florida State off balance right from the get-go.
Riley at the top of your screen. Rock Preston, number 24 at the bottom, and we're ready to go. It's a cloudy day, 62 degrees, and the wind will swirl from right to left across your television as we go along this afternoon. Rock Preston in the end zone. Preston sees a seam, went down on one knee, and he'll be blown dead at the 26-yard line. Danny Cannell comes out under center. A stormy week for Danny for 2 weeks, straight weeks. Florida State has failed to score a touchdown in the air.
At 181 yards through the interception last time against Clemson. Really the only deep ball he threw all day. They're going to try and do a lot of fast break offense with the no huddle, at least early on. 4 wide outs now for Danny Cannell operating out of the shotgun on 1st and 10 at his own 26. Handoff, play fake, Cannell to Tez McCorvey. First down, big block, Farmer's back and gets him in Duke territory at the 43. Great play fake by Danny Cannell. Everybody bid on the fake handoff to Warwick Dunn. The little quick screen to McCorvey. Watch the block on Carlos Bagley. Just to the left side of your screen, right there. What a hit by Tiger McMillan. 4 wide outs again. This is an adjustment that Duke will have to make defensively as Cannell looks at the shotgun again. Right over the middle, pass is complete to McMillan. They made that block. Bringing him down is Farmer and Kirkland, and there's a flag down on the play at the 39-yard line. I think we're going to get an inadvertent face mask penalty on Duke as they tried to tackle Tiger McMillan.
Let's take a look at the lineups today offensively for the Florida State Seminoles. Danny Cannell leads them out at quarterback.
Zach Crockett, when they are in their 2-back set, will be the lead blocker for Warwick Dunn. We'll see Ellison, McCorvey, Pearsall starting at tight end, and also Tiger McMillan when they go to the 4 wides. They have had to make another change on the offensive line. Todd Fordham in at tight tackle after Forrest Connolly hurt his knee in last week's game against Clemson.
Inverted face mask adds 5 to the 4-yard gain. Makes it 2nd down and 1.
Duke trying to put a lot of guys in the box right now. They want to be aggressive. Look at the linebackers on the line of scrimmage.
Duke does not run hard this time. The pass is incomplete for Wayne Messam. As we look at the Duke defense, a defense that will try to keep that man, Danny Cannell, off balance.
Well, you saw right there, they showed blitz and then didn't. Kirkland, Bunch, and Stallmeyer, decent players. The heart of this defense, those linebackers, Hawkins and Granville and Zwanich in particular, and an excellent secondary that can play a lot of man coverage. Abdul Aleem and Farmer, the free safeties are good. Jamal Ellis has done a wonderful job at the cornerback spot. Brandon Pollock, a young player, getting better all the time.
Goes to Crockett, and Crockett gets the first down at the 31-yard line. They've gone to Zach Crockett 12 times on 3rd and short, and he's converted and moved the chains on 10 times. There's Fred Goldsmith, the midseason candidate for Coach of the Year.
I think he's already won it, regardless of what happens.
1st and 10.
See, with all the noise, Jesus Hernandez couldn't hear Cannell's call and turn back and get the information.
Florida State looking to strike quick. John Zwanich stepped in front of Wayne Messam, and had he hung on, he was gone all the way. Zwanich, who returned a fumble 62 yards for a score a week ago, nearly picked this one off.
And you can see that graphic a moment ago. 77 tackles, a very active young man. Good speed out of La Jolla, California. Nearly had a free path up the far sideline.
Converted, strong safety. The linebacker. 2nd down and 10. Cannell, short pass over to Cooper. And Billy Granville is there. Very little gain to maybe the 29-yard line. They'll mark him down to the 28, so it's a gain of 3.
Just as we saw last week, to this point, Danny Cannell is not looking deep at all. Content to play really the same kind of offensive package that Duke employs. 1 back, and when you throw the ball, you're throwing it underneath the coverage. Bobby Bowden trying to ensure no mistakes.
3rd down and 8, no score. got the first down at the 20-yard line. Just outside the 20. Jamal Ellis tried to tell him that the marker was pushed ahead. It's going to be a first down for FSU. Bobby Bowden, 19 years here at Florida State. They've gone to 12 straight bowls. He sees his team with a streak of 21 consecutive ACC wins.
But right now they are at the spot where they struggled a week ago, into the scoring zone, not being able to finish off drives.
Scored only 3 of 5 times inside the 20. Big rush is on Cannell on the corner. Looking for the end zone. Incomplete out of the end zone. The receiver made the catch. That was Omar Ellison, but he ran out of real estate.
Banging around a little bit with Jamal Ellis and Abdul Alim, but was able to get to the football. Just couldn't get that 1 foot down in time. Good job by Danny Cannell to get out of the pressure. They sent Ray Farmer, the free safety, on a blitz. Ball sailed just a little bit. Steve talked about some swirling winds, and you can see the right foot just on the sideline.
Second down and 10. Florida State dearly wants to put a knockout punch early on Duke. Here's Warren Dunn's first carry of the day. The one big fear Fred Goldsmith had was number 28 circling the field. We have a late flag thrown in.
I said it last week. I'll probably say it several times here this afternoon. I love watching Warwick Dunn play football. He just never gives a tackler a free shot and seems to get yardage out of nothing.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the defense. Half whistle.
Tough personal foul, half the distance. That takes Dunn's gain and adds to it. If you look at Warwick Dunn, he's third in the ACC in rushing.
Nearly 6.5 yards every time he touches the football on the ground, and that doesn't take into account the passes that he has caught.
Last week he averaged close to 9 yards a carry. Scored twice as Florida State prevailed over Clemson. They're 6 yards from the end zone right now with 12:45 left to go and a first and goal. The Duke Blue Devils put a lot of men in the box here. Florida State restacks in the eye. Cannell with a play action. Pass is complete. Touchdown, Andre Cooper. Cooper had 6 inches to operate. All that Brendan Pollock would give him, and he took it.
Last week, struggling in the scoring zone. Kes McCorvey told us yesterday, maybe we have too many weapons and we were trying too hard. Well, they knew what they wanted here, the bootleg, and Cooper got it right on the pylon. When it goes out of bounds, you cross the plane of the goal line.
Bowery with the point after. It is no good. The kicking woes continue. Wide left, Cooper with his 3rd touchdown reception of the season, and Florida State strikes first. We'll be back after this message from CarQuest Auto Parts.
My dad's a doctor, and you have to be real smart to be a doctor. Well, my dad fixes cars, and he's a lot smarter than your dad, because a doctor only has 2 models to fix, men and women, and they never change. My dad has to know how to fix hundreds of car models, and they change every year.
Well, my dad helps your dad keep your dad's car running right, and that's his store.
CarQuest, preferred by professional automotive technicians.
Now, to each man who shaves, there's an edge all his own. Only Edge Gel has 8 custom formulas to fit every shaving need. From tough beards to sensitive skin. For a close, comfortable shave, get an edge of your own. Ultimate closeness, ultimate comfort. That's the Edge. And try improved Edge aftershave. Now more soothing than ever.
Here in the Outback, we know what's important in life. Food.
You don't mind, do you?
If you feel the same way, get to Outback Steakhouse.
I got a bloomin' good recipe for onions.
We're at the Chrysler test track, along with off-duty police officer Kirk Harris, to test drive the performance of the 3.5-liter 24-valve Eagle Vision. You think he can handle all that power, officer? We're trained to go fast. Well, you have a nice day, then. That was great. Those 214 horses really moved. What'd you get the speedometer up to there? You know, I don't know. I wasn't paying much attention. Hell, I was. I'm going to need you to step out of the car, sir. Let's go.
Now get up to $1,100 off select Eagle Visions.
Dan Mowry getting set to kick after the Florida State score. A 6-yard pass to Andre Cooper from Danny Cannell. For Cannell, his 19th career touchdown pass and the first in 3 weeks. This is Adam Geis. Geis, the true freshman, is nailed at the 18-yard line. Let's take a look at the score. Danny Cannell with the bootleg, had a lot of pressure on the play, just able to get it off before Orlando Atwaters buried him. Cooper gets the score, and as Steve said, the first touchdown pass in a couple of weeks for Danny Cannell, and he was a happy young man. A big load off his shoulders, that's for sure. And a little help on that. There's Andre Cooper. Here comes the Duke offense. First and 10 at their own 18. Spence Fisher has Robert Baldwin back to go to play action, and a pass complete to Opalenik. Joe Opalenik, the freshman. No, they're going to say no. Let's take a look at the Duke offense. Duke has done an outstanding job behind Fisher and Baldwin. Kayat has caught a bunch of passes. John Farquhar, a big tight end. And an offensive line that has been outstanding this year. Matt Williams making his 36th consecutive start at tackle. He was their MVP a year ago. Second down and 10. Matt Williams moved early. The right offensive tackle for the Duke Blue Devils out of Birmingham, Alabama, gets an early step.
Dead ball. False start on the offense.
Ronald Cherry, our referee. Taking a look at the Florida State defense. Orpheus Roy, young man, really starting to come on. We talked about Alexander and Brooks. I also like the redshirt freshman Darrell Bush at middle linebacker. Good solid secondary headed up by the two cornermen, Abraham and Fuller. So it's 2nd and 15, just the situation Duke wanted to avoid early. Big rush is on, several passes incomplete. It was intended for Baldwin. Wadsworth had a big push on through the middle. I think Duke was hoping by deferring on the opening coin toss that the defense could disrupt Florida State. They'd get the ball and start winning the field position battle. Instead, Florida State goes right down the field and scores, and Duke is backing up and letting the crowd be a factor early on. Spence Fisher on 3rd down. Duke is converted into quick kick. Second time they've done it this season. And it'll roll, take a nice Duke bounce inside the 30-yard line. They did it against Georgia Tech. And he nailed it for 74 yards that time. This one is for 57. The quick kick puts Florida State in possession of the football and helps Duke's defense in terms of field position. Good decision by Fred Goldsmith for 2 reasons. One, take a little bit of pressure off your offense. And secondly, you've got an outstanding punt block team in Florida State. So try and back them off. You see that touchdown, the first time anybody has scored in the first period against Duke this year. They have dominated first halves against opposition, but they are in the hole for the first time this season. They are trailing in a football game in the first quarter. A lot of people are anxious to see how they react to these circumstances. I'm sure the most is Fred Goldsmith. Duke showing 3 men on a blitz, and they all come. Warren Dunn gets behind the first wave, and he's on his way. Dunn brought down by Zaid Abdul-Alim at the 48-yard line of Duke. A 23-yard jaunt. Duke rolled the dice and lost on the blitz. Well, Craig Bull, the defensive coordinator, told us they would have to be aggressive, take their chances. Good down blocking, and when
They couldn't make the tackle by James Kirkland on Warwick Dunn. He was loose in the secondary for a gain of more than 20 yards.
That's a problem you run into when you decide to blitz and you commit everybody. And that's what they did. 1st and 10, Cannell at midfield. Has some time. Didn't have a receiver. Zwanich was covering Warwick Dunn that time.
Gambling that perhaps Duke would come again. They kept everybody in except for Omar Ellison, who was running a deep post route to the left of Cannell. When that wasn't open, he tried to dump it off to Dunn, saw Zwanich there, and wisely threw it out of bounds.
This is the chess match that Duke will play with Florida State this afternoon. Try to keep them guessing. They send everybody this time. Florida State does a nice job picking it up. Ellison open, but it is Jamal Ellis. Back to contain. Again, Duke sent 4. Danny Cannell needed to throw this 1 count sooner for 2 reasons. One, most obviously, because of the pressure. Look at 2, 4, 6, 7 men attacking on the play, and Cannell wasn't really able to step forward, and because of that, the ball hangs up. Have the confidence that his wide receivers can run under the ball. See how he couldn't finish that off, had to throw it off his back foot? Didn't get enough oomph on the football. 3rd down, 6-0 Florida State. Looks like he wants to set up a screen with Stallmeyer in pursuit, but it is out of bounds to Crockett. And that brings the punt unit on. But field position now starts to enter into this ball game as Florida State will be punting from midfield. They'll be punting Duke deep.
Good sequence, though, by the Duke defense, recovering after the long touchdown drive and a 20-yard run on the first play of this series. They settle in and force the Seminoles to kick it away.
Duke showing 10 men on the line. Now they'll peel back for return. This is Geis. Fair catch. Called for. It is going to be down in the end zone, they say. He's got the mark in the end zone. If it is, it's a touchback. If not, it's trouble at the 1.
It appeared, it is a touchback. It appeared that Byron Capers coming down, I think it was number 23. Let's take a look and see if Capers' foot is in the end zone when he touches this ball. Ball is still out, but if the defender is in the, yes, right there. Good call by the officials. You could see his right foot right on the goal line. Touched the plane of the end zone, and that makes it a touchback. Good call by the men in the striped shirts.
48-yard kick by Sean Lewis. 1st and 10. Baldwin the lone setback. Fisher back to throw. It is incomplete, intended for Farquhar over the middle. Darrell Bush was covering over the middle that time.
Duke has had excellent starts to ball games and excellent starts to seasons on 4 occasions. Those early years when they went 9-1 each of those seasons, 7 straight here, but a tough finish. Their final 4 is quite a challenge.
2nd down and 10. Here's Robert Baldwin, big hole, and Baldwin gets out close to a 1st down. He's brought down by Sam Cowart, but it's going to be a gain of close to 10. Derek Brooks also helped out, and this is what Duke will have to do. They won't have to be able to get 200 yards, but to get 100 yards on the ground is important.
Good down block, good seal block by Chad Melita and the center, Tyrone Egg, to create the hole on the right side to get them close to 1st down yardage.
But not enough. 3rd and inches. Florida State will blitz, and Fisher goes right off his right, or actually his left tackle, John Merrill, and gets the 1st down.
That draw play, sprint draw, if you will, to Baldwin on 2nd down was such a big play, Steve, because I think for most of this game today, Duke really needs to be efficient on their 1st down plays. They get into too many 2nd and longs. As good as Rob Baldwin is, as effective as Spence Fisher has been this year, that's not going to work against the quickness of Florida State.
They're used to getting 4 or 5 yards a clip out of Robert Baldwin. They want to get that, especially on 1st down today. There's the play action to Baldwin. The pass to Jensen is complete to the 40-yard line. So that's an 8-yard gain. Bringing up 2nd and 2. Corey Fuller in on the tackle.
John Jensen may be a key figure this afternoon. At 6'4", 210, he is a big man as a wide receiver. Corey Fuller is 5'11" at one cornerback, and Clifton Abraham is 5'9". So you're going to have the size advantage. We saw some of the hits Fuller and Abraham put on wide receivers last week. That won't bother a guy like Jensen.
On 2nd and short, Fred Goldsmith said, let's go get the first down, and Baldwin is very close to it at the 42-yard line. Sam Coward, who had 7 tackles a week ago, makes this one. Coward and Rebel combined for 14 tackles against Clemson last week, so that linebacker position is especially active.
Well, without a turnover, the 2 first downs here have gotten Duke back into this football game.
And onto some sort of offensive rhythm. Fisher looking for Jensen. Clifton Abraham was there to break it up.
Rare to see Duke in a 2-back set, and they ran a little counter, a little cross action in the backfield, faking the ball to a couple of men, Woolman and also Rob Baldwin, and then Fisher on the rollout. Either he didn't expect Jensen to come that far inside, or he just released it late and was lucky it wasn't picked off.
2nd and 10. Fisher back to time. Pass incomplete, intended for Corey Thomas. Corey Fuller in coverage. Brings up 3rd down.
Well, we have seen it so far here, really a little bit from both teams, and you saw how Florida State adjusted on their second possession, even though they weren't able to convert it, Steve. Everything's been underneath, and you can see the defensive secondary making it tougher and tougher as they squeeze inside. Spence has to think about getting the ball a little bit deeper if he can.
Fisher with only 1 completion, as you saw. That to Jensen. 3rd down and 10. 6-0 Florida State. Big rush is on. Brooks blitzing. Fisher gets away, but he won't get away from Todd Raybould. He's out to the 40-yard line. It's going to be a loss on the play of 2 and brings the punt unit on.
Both defenses settling down near midfield. Lots of pressure. Fisher did a pretty good job of getting away from a few bodies, but eventually Reinhard Wilson and then Todd Raybould finishing him off. Raleigh Bulwer was lucky that he didn't get called for a late hit.
John Kruger, you see his numbers. Florida State setting up the return. This is James Colsey at the 9. Colsey averaged 10 a week ago. Has 10 there. We have a flag on the play. And the punter, Kruger, brings him down at the 38. But the flag is back at the 20-yard line. It's a 50-yard punt, a 28-yard return. And I got a feeling that Florida State's going to be backed up on this one.
It'll either be illegal block in the back or the clip. Either way, inside the 20, it'll put him back by the 10.
Illegal block in the back on the return team. 10 yards, first down.
Well, that's Robert Baldwin's mother. She's from nearby DeLand, Florida, watching her son and the Duke Blue Devils. We'll return after these messages from your local ACC station.
You're looking at the pickup that in 1994 won Best New Pickup, Pickup of the Year, Best of What's New, and was a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. How could a truck possibly get any better than that? In 1995, Chevrolet's added an airbag to it. That's genuine Chevrolet. Check out the 95 Chevy S-Series, specially priced now for just $189 a month. At Champion, Wes Haney, Thomas, Bill Wells, and Gateway Chevrolet.
So when I turn the key, it sounds like my starter is going bad. So I figured since I heard about AutoZone, it was a good place to try as any, right? But get this. I go in there to buy a starter. The guy tells me we need to test my old one first just to make sure that's not the problem. It turns out that it's a solenoid switch. That one little test saved me a big headache. You know, that AutoZone's all right. And when you get service like that, I mean, you don't forget it.
Hard-working Georgians. They deserve respect. They won't get it from Guy Milner. Guy Milner began this race saying he wouldn't campaign in small towns like Vidalia because there's not enough votes or money there to make it worth his while. Then Guy Milner actually had the nerve to ask a group of farmers, quote, "Do you all work for a living, or are you in farming?" Guy Milner's worth $84 million, didn't pay taxes, and he's asking us if we work for a living? Guy Milner, does he really care about you?
This is the state constitution. As the Chief Justice of the Florida Supreme Court, I work to uphold it. When I wrote Proposition 8, limited casinos, I made sure that strict limits on the number of casinos were put right here. That means politicians won't have the authority to change or weaken the limits. Only you can put the limits in the Constitution by voting yes on limited casinos. And only a vote by you can change those limits. With limited casinos, you have the final say.
You cut loose today. He had one play of 9 yards. He's looking for others. This game, Jack really has kind of settled in. The block in the back after the punt backs Florida State up to their own 9, actually their own 10-yard line. Brock Preston in the backfield for Danny Cannell, who has now missed on his last 4 passes. That was for Wayne Messam. But the turnaround for Duke has been dramatic.
Well, the winds of change indeed in Durham have shown an unbelievable change. Those the points per game last year, and look at the difference in the offense, up 16.5, and defensively even better as they are limiting the opposition to just 2 touchdowns a ball game. Outstanding defensive work.
Back to live action, and the pass is complete for Tiger McMillan, who's found himself a new life as a slot back in this Florida State offense to the 15-yard line, a gain of 5. Brandon Pollock hit on the tackle. We have some sort of controversy about his name pronunciations. We'll just alternate. We'll alternate. 3rd down, 5 yards to go. Play action, Cannell looking. That's Ken McCorvey complete for the first down. Ken McCorvey out to the 30-yard line. It's a gain of 15. Ray Farmer brings him down, and Florida State gets to move the chains.
McCorvey's been hampered with a little bit of a shoulder problem this year. Has made some comments about wanting to be more involved in the offense. He has on several occasions already in this first quarter, and does some good things once he has the football, trying to get away from Ray Farmer there.
Scott passes in 26 straight games for Florida State. We were present last time he did up in Raleigh at NC State in '92. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Florida State up 6-0. Blitz is on from Swanich. He gets rid of it to Tiger McMillan, incomplete. But John Swanich was putting all kinds of heat on Danny Cannell.
Well, the great speed with people like Swanich, or if they bring Farmer up on the line of scrimmage, enables them to disguise blitzes, and Cannell didn't see Swanich soon enough to pick up the hot receiver right away and had to dump it up for an incompletion.
Kirkland stayed at home that time. Here is Cannell. Cannell passes complete to McCorvey, but not much real estate there. Pollock in on the tackle at the 32-yard line.
To this point, Florida State throwing the ball as would be expected out of the no-huddle 3 and 4 wide receiver set. Now on 3rd down and 5, they bring Zach Crockett back into the ball game, but they stay in the shotgun. No, now they'll go into their I formation.
And they'll go on a quick count after they get into the I as well. Just one beat. Preston is gone, gets outside of Hoffman, but Abdul Aleem comes up for the stop at the 36-yard line.
Abdul Aleem, the Fulbright scholar out of Chicago, has played very, very well since being moved to the strong safety position. Has to be able to recognize the run. Looks like Preston has room, but Aleem, filling quickly, denies him a chance at a first down.
Speaks fluently in 5 languages. He's also a nominee for a Rhodes Scholarship. Sean Liss had a 48-yard punt last time out. Need the benefit of a roll this time down to the Duke 25-yard line. So Duke takes over, and this game, Jack, now seems to be settling in, and I think settling in a lot quicker than people thought. They figured it might get into the 3rd quarter before things settle down, but now Spence Fisher comes out for his 3rd possession of the afternoon.
I think they have to get Rob Baldwin going a little bit here. He has not been a big factor to this point.
1st and 10.
Well, I'm sure, Steve, early on they were trying to have Baldwin decoy the defense, but you want to get your best ground gainer some attempts if you can, and Baldwin carrying the ball for just the second or third time on the afternoon. Comes in number 7 in the country in rushing. Set a school record, 238 yards against Maryland. He's only 71 to reach the 1,000 plateau. The third new running back to do that. On second down, Fisher going for Jensen. And in a foot race with Corey Fuller, he overthrew them both. I like the play call, though, by Mike Heimerdinger. I think that's what they have to do. They have to try and be willing to stretch the Florida State defense with those cornerbacks doing a lot of man coverage. It's gutty in terms of the possibility of your quarterback really getting creamed back there because he's got to hang in there a little bit, but Spence willing to do that. The defense of Florida State has not gotten that close to him except the one sack. Here's the shovel pass to Baldwin on 3rd and 9. Reboll is there to solve it. Along with Tyrant Marion, it's a gain out to the 30-yard line of only about 2 yards, and it brings out a punting situation. So Florida State in the nickel package holds Duke, and they'll get the football back. Well, as Fred Goldsmith told us yesterday, Bobby Bowden's front 7, the down linemen and the linebackers, he says they have such quick feet. If you just looked at their feet during a game, you'd think they're all defensive backs. He says, until you look up and see how big they are. Florida State showing an 8-man rush on John Kruger. Kruger had a 50 the first time out. Big rush that time, but he gets it away. This is Colsey at the 28. Colsey fumbles the football, and it's picked up by Florida State. Florida State had enough men covering. Sean Hamlin does the honors. A 42-yard kick, a 10-yard return. Florida State up by 6.
The competitive environment of high-performance racing demands reliability. That's why the International Motor Sports Association asked Exxon to formulate their official racing fuel. They knew that Exxon would create a high-performance fuel that exceeds the demands of grueling race conditions. And that same reliable performance can be found every time you fill up with Exxon 93 Supreme. Exxon, rely on the Tiger.
Is ironing your pants too much trouble? Try wrinkle-resistant casuals in 100% cotton from Lee.
This will work for you?
Thanks.
Some things never change. For over 20 years, Discount Auto Parts has brought you low prices and friendly professional service. Our huge volume keeps prices low, so our customers save money every single day. And our team members are always right here to help. So if you're one of our customers, thanks for making us #1. If you're not, well, it's never too late to start saving money. We still take good care of our customers. We still keep our prices low because some things never change. We won't let them.
Well, they're pumped up here in Tallahassee, the crowd at Doak Campbell Stadium. They want 22 consecutive ACC wins to tread where no ACC team has gone before. And there's the man, Chief Osceola, who gets them up and going. Danny Cannell responsible for the on-field duties. His pass deflected, but picked up by Kez McCorvey. What concentration by McCorvey. Granville got a piece of the ball. Kez McCorvey, the senior out of Gautier, Mississippi, running a dig route over the middle. And as Steve mentioned, Billy Granville got a piece of that ball, but McCorvey stayed with it and picked up a Florida State first down.
16 yards upfield to the 46. This is Crockett. Straight ahead, the fullback gets down to about the 43-yard line. Bernard Holge in on the tackle for the Duke defense, but in each of the Florida State possessions, they've managed to come up with a big first play.
They want to come up with a lot of big last plays of drives to try and take control of the game.
Second down and 7. Clock flying through this first quarter. 3:23 left. Blitz is on. Florida State covers. But they've also got Andre Cooper covered downfield. First Union presents Around the ACC, an active week in ACC football. Wake Forest and Clemson about to kick off at Death Valley. Maryland out of conference today. And then the big one, NC State and North Carolina, the battle for the Old North States. And the UNC running game. Curtis Johnson, Leon Johnson. The comparison between this year and last year against NC State. They need more of that against the Wolfpack, which is one of the toughest teams against the run in the country. Florida State up 6-0. 3:13 left to go in our Exxon ACC game of the week in the first quarter. Andre Cooper touchdown pass from Danny Cannell. 4-man rush. The swing pass goes to Dunn. Dunn fights his way for yardage, but does not have the first down. He's at the 38-yard line. Picks up a gain of about 5 yards. Jamal Ellis led the tackling parade.
They will go for it here on 4th down because I think they like what their defense has been doing. Boy, Abdul Alim thought he had some kind of shot on Warwick Dunn and came up with nothing as Dunn slipped underneath him, but still held a couple of yards shy. Bobby Bowden, who has never been one to be too conservative, wants to go for it, but wants a timeout to discuss what they want to do.
So we'll stay here at Doak Campbell Stadium as Danny Cannell comes to the sidelines to talk things over. Florida State found himself several opportunities on 4th down last week and decided to go for it.
Well, this is as much a testament to how well their defense has been playing in the last 2 ball games as to trying to sustain things with the offense, because right now this Florida State defense is shutting down running games. Florida State has limited Duke to just 26 yards of offense in the first quarter so far.
Well, Bobby Bowden's well aware of what Duke has been accomplishing this season, and he's been rather wary about all the talk about taking on the unbeaten team.
I'm scared to say anything about this Duke team. I mean, who would have thought they'd have been 7-0 right now? They hadn't done it since 1941, you know, and so, but if they can't beat Florida State, but don't say it too loud.
Last time they were 7-0 at this point in the season. They went on to be 9-0 and went on to the Rose Bowl, the only off-campus or off-Pasadena site at Wallace Wade Stadium. Bobby Bowden, veteran of 29 campaigns in college football, West Virginia, and here for the last 19 at Florida State.
Bobby knows his history. He'd like that ACC consecutive wins record.
They can have it if they win here today. 4th and 2. Florida State going for it. And Duke may give it to him, or there might have been a movement across the line. Duke is saying that they were drawn offsides. Hawkins tried to tag the tight end, Melvin Pearsall, as he went out to his split position, and they're going to say that Duke got offside.
Good ball. Offsides. Defense.
It was actually, Steve, Orlando Adwaters who made contact with Billy Glenn, the other tight end. Watch him shift. They're allowed to do that. He's a tight end, Billy. He's a tight end. That doesn't work. So just with a formation shift, they make the 4th down conversion an easy one.
Can save that play for later. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Cannell with play action. Holds, he leaps through the screen complete to Dunn. And Dunn is knocked out of bounds by John Zwanich, a yard shy of the first down marker at the 24-yard line.
Knocked out of bounds, but knocked down. Looked like the Tasmanian devil there as he kept spinning his way along the sidelines.
Valuable part of this Florida State offense.
McCorvey coming to the sidelines. I don't know if that shoulder. Yeah, he's hanging on the near sidelines, that left arm, like he is. He's had problems with a shoulder injury, and it looks like it's bothering him again.
Wayne Messam is in his place. Here is Crockett. And Zach is very close to first down yardage, and by my estimation, he should have it. And with a report on Kes McCorvey, here's Mike Hogwood.
Jeff Bowden was telling me before the game they were trying to hide Kes McCorvey a little bit, but it was very hard to do because he plays that inside receiver position, and he has to block. It was throwing a block 2 plays ago that he re-injured that shoulder, and he's in a lot of pain right now.
And Jeff Bowden may recognize the last name of a long and a big family tree in coaching. Son of Coach Bob Bowden. Here's Cannell on first down. The pass from Messam is incomplete.
A cardinal sin of a wide receiver running before the ball is put away and short-arming the ball a little bit as well. Wayne Messam not doing the fundamental things, first of all. I can sympathize with that. I did that a few times myself, and you hate going to the sidelines after a play like that.
You not doing fundamentals? I find that very hard to believe.
That happened at times at 20.
E.G. Green is split wide to the short side. Andre Cooper wide to the wide side of the field on 2nd and 10. And looking for E.G. Green is Cannell out of the end zone. Second such catch today by a Florida State receiver. Jamal Ellis just ran out of real estate.
They put 8 men on the line of scrimmage. Cannell saw it. They picked up the blitz, tried to run the fade route, but right there, just as Steve described, that was an excellent job by Jamal Ellis to narrow the space so that by the time Green came down with the football, there was no way it was going to be in bounds. The receiver has to fight to gain more space, and the quarterback has to make sure that he doesn't limit the opportunity for the wide receiver.
3rd and 10, up by 6. Florida State with the ball. Getting away from pressure. Cannell cannot, and Zwanich gets a sack to the 35-yard line. A loss on the play of 13 yards for Danny Cannell, and this may make a tough decision on 4th down as far as the field goal is concerned.
The sociology major, the junior out of La Jolla, had a good season last year. He's having a great season this year. Gets the sack and forces Florida State from not only trying a field goal, but into a punting situation.
Well, the wind at that end of the stadium, Jack, is a little bit on the swirling side. It's fairly strong, about 15, so we'll see many decisions to kick a field goal into that. You can see it play a factor there, although Liss likes the path of that football. A nice kick down to the 2-yard line. So Sean Liss does the job. Uses the wind. Travis Sherman downs it. And Sean Liss has kicked Duke into a hole.
They've kept Duke's offense in a hole throughout this first period. Duke has had little opportunity to open up their offense, in part because of the poor field position.
Let's go to the sidelines again at Mike Hogwood.
Steve, you were right about the wind. It is in Florida State's face. That is why they went for the punt instead of the field goal. Duke has 1:05 left in the quarter, going with the wind.
And Maury and Scott Bentley are always at the ready. And here is Robert Baldwin, and he runs into Derek Alexander. As many have done this season, Alexander responds and sets Baldwin in reverse, but they'll give him forward motion to the 2.
6'5", 285, and great quickness off the line of scrimmage. Watch Alexander just slice his way through. Also good penetration on the play by Andre Wadsworth, the freshman nose guard. Baldwin had no opportunity to get any acceleration.
Eric Smith, Henry Crockett, Sam Howard, the middle linebackers. 2nd down and 11. Fisher in his own end zone to pass. Has protection. Almost intercepted by Sean Hamlet at the 22. Looking for John Jensen on the pattern. Fisher had all kinds of time, but didn't have anybody open.
Well, they had 3 receivers in the play, and Florida State showed blitz and then backed off and had 5 men in coverage. And you see Sean Hamlet nearly made a nice leaping interception to break up the play for a crossing John Jensen.
So that brings up 3rd and about 11. Ball on the Duke 2-yard line. They trail 6-0. They've quick kicked once. Will they pull that out again? Yes, they do. And this time it partially hit a Duke player, it looked like. It'll go out of bounds at the 27-yard line. A 25-yard quick kick for Spence Fisher. Down by Robert Baldwin, but Florida State has the ball in excellent field condition. And they are whooping it up here in Doak Campbell. They know this team has yet to lose in conference play, and they do not want it to start on their home field in the closing seconds of the first quarter. They want to increase their 6-0 advantage. Looks like Spence Fisher just hurried the punt. It didn't hit anybody. Nearly got Rob Baldwin in the backside. 1st and 10 with 12 seconds left to go in the first quarter. This will probably be the last play in the first. McCorvey is back in the ballgame. An inside slot receiver. Ron Preston breaks tackles and gets inside the Duke 15 to the 13-yard line. Clock stops with 4 seconds to mark the first down. So Florida State will squeeze another play out of this first quarter. Well, probably not, because they'll start it up again, and that will do it. Touchdown-saving tackle by Jamal Ellis. So Florida State's knocking on the door. They're at the Duke 14, and they lead 6-0 after 1 quarter in our Exxon ACC Game of the Week.
They speak it in England, France, and Germany. It sounds the same in the U.S. and Mexico as it does in Hong Kong and Tokyo. It's the international language of business. And wherever it's spoken, Delta Airlines can put you right in the middle of the conversation. And then we'll bring you back to that place where you don't have to say a word to be understood. Delta Airlines.
Canada. It's a land like no other, with a beer like no other. Molson Ice. Ice brewed by North America's oldest brewery to be bolder and bolder. It's smooth as ice. Molson Ice, from the land where ice was born.
This is you. This is the commercial you see. This is the number you call. This is the box that comes. This is the machine you get. This is the number you call. These are the exercises you do. This is how long it takes. This is how often you do it. This is the number you call. This is how you'll feel when you're done. The SoloFlex Muscle Machine. Just $39 a month. Call now for a free brochure and video. This is the number you call.
Okay, these guys are the party people. I mean, look at them. They are hungry. So then these guys here, they're the host team. They send this guy over here to Hardee's for fresh fried chicken. It's the perfect play. Hardee's chicken deal is just $5.99. 8 pieces of chicken and 4 biscuits, only $5.99. Okay, watch the replay. 8 pieces of Hardee's chicken and 4 biscuits, only $5.99. So when these guys come rushing in, here's all this chicken to tackle. When you toss a party, make the big play. Have plenty of Hardee's fried chicken to pass around.
This telecast is brought to you in part by Hardee's, your tailgating headquarters and a proud partner with the ACC. Steve Martin, Jack Corrigan, Mike Ogward in Tallahassee. Florida State leading by a score of 6-0, and they're threatening after Duke's quick kick. They hand off. Oh no, it's a play fake, and it is complete to Cam McCorvey at the 11. McCorvey still on his feet and gets down to the 3 before he's brought down by John Zwanich and Jamal Ellis. Lots of upfield pressure. Granville and Zwanich were blitzing on the play. Cannell picked it up, found his slot receiver McCorvey, who runs a little zig-out route and then steps around Levance McQueen and Zaid Abdul Alim and gets it down inside the 5. First and goal. Handoff, Crockett. He's to the 1. Flag down on the play. Flag on the play. Let's see what happens here. David Hawkins in on the tackle. Might have Duke lining up in the neutral zone. You are right. Here's a look at the Lee Apparel first quarter stats. Florida State getting it done in the air. 107 yards. Duke trying to get it done somewhere, but they obviously don't want those stats to reflect through for fourth quarters.
Well, field position and that quick Florida State defense really shutting down Duke in the first quarter. They just got to hope for a better start to get a drive going and put more than 2 first downs together. They've only had a couple of them in that first 15 minutes.
They've had 4 possessions. 3 of them have been 3 downs and out. 2 of them literally. First and goal. Handoff. Crockett. Touchdown, Florida State.
A real concern for the Duke defensive staff. The size advantage that the Florida State offensive line would enjoy in those kinds of situations. They just powered the Duke defense into the end zone, and after the missed extra point on their first touchdown, Duke wants to go for 2, and they were missing Jesus Hernandez, who is an extra guy, and they have to burn their second time out.
To the chagrin of Bobby Bowden, who had a play all called for that second or 2-point conversion, along with offensive coordinator Mark Richt. So they'll have to wait and give Duke an opportunity here to respond to the play call. Florida State coach Bobby Bowden checking with the official, asking about timeouts remaining, and we can show him that he has just one.
Well, you know, Steve, for all the complaints from the Seminole fans in recent weeks about the struggles of this offense, they are still first in the ACC in total offense, first in the ACC in passing offense, and first in the conference in scoring offense. Yes, it has not gone as well for them in their last 2 games, the loss to Miami and the victory at Clemson, but this is still a good offense whose problem has been finishing things off. And so far here today, on 3 scoring opportunities, they have finished them off twice.
And you also have to take into account the competition they faced defensively the last 2 times out. They only gained something to the order of 248 yards against a very good Miami team defensively, and Clemson's not bad defensively, and they held them under 400. 2-point conversion try coming up from Florida State.
Snapped it to Preston.
Eibach to fake that time. Preston in for 2. And the 2-point conversion offsets the missed extra point, and Florida State is back out in front 14-0.
Gotta like that wrinkle. Watch Rock Preston, the redshirt freshman, number 24 here. He is lined up to the left of Danny Cannell. And Clay Shiver's snap goes to him. Good fake by Cannell to look like he had the football. And Preston firing up there behind Shiver, and Chad Bates scores the 2-pointer to make it 14-0 Seminoles.
Billy Granville thought he had the play figured out, but just ran out of room. And Dan Mowry getting set to kick it off for Florida State. Mowry, the new special teams captain, now that Steve Gilmer is out for the season with an injured knee. And, of course, Mowry. There's Zach Crockett. A 1-yard touchdown run. It took them only 57 seconds to execute. They were set up in excellent field position by Duke's quick kick. Their second of the afternoon from the 2-yard line. And so Mowry gets set to kick it away, and Florida State has tacked a 2-touchdown lead on Duke here with 14:15 left to go in the first half.
Duke really needs to get a decent return here. They have to try and get some better field position.
Back up to their own 2 last time. There's the kick. Dyke will not return it. And Duke will start at their own 20-yard line. They've started drives at the 18, 20, 25, their own 2, and now their own 20. There's Spence Fisher coming back out. He's struggled this afternoon.
Field position has really been a problem for Duke. You can see the difference in the average starting field position. And Ron Baldwin has touched the ball only 4 times so far.
3 wide receivers in the pattern now for Spence Fisher, but this is Robert Baldwin carrying on first down. He's tripped up by Orpheus Roy as he crosses the line of scrimmage and gets out to the 23. Derek Brooks there to finish him off.
There's Brooks, the All-American. That great quickness, Stevie. Orpheus Roy was the backside tackle, and sliding down on the play was able to get a piece of Baldwin to slow him down for Derek Brooks. Duke putting Pyatt in a slot. Now they've got 3 wide receivers to the top side. 2 of them are tight ends by classification. Here is Fisher. Across the middle, intercepted by Tom Rebold. Rebold at the 19-yard line. Damon Wallace comes up with a tackle. A 9-yard return on the interception. For Spence Fisher, only his 5th pickoff this year. Fisher had time, but good coverage downfield. Finally started to feel the pressure on the backside from James Roberson and tried to hit Farquhar and never saw Todd Rebold underneath the coverage. Rebold, who is an outstanding student, read that one all the way. The turnover margin for Florida State still on the minus side, but they've got the TO so far here. He had 6 against Miami. But they've got the football in excellent position. The last 2 drives, they've started inside the Duke 30. Here's Cannell, hit as he threw. Big rush on Kirkland and Farmer there, and Farmer is holding his knee as if he's hurt. Ray Farmer limps out of there. He's back on his own feet. That would be a big loss for that secondary. Farmer at 6'4", 204. Let's see it again. See if we can see if he took a helmet on the knee, perhaps. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Took a helmet on the right knee as Warwick Dunn tried to chop him down to slow down the blitz, and Farmer hobbling to the sidelines, and they are a little short-handed in the secondary. Tawambi Settles, the freshman out of Chattanooga, who is the backup for Farmer, hurt his knee in practice this week. He is in the ball game now, but at less than 100%.
Their defensive backs, Jack, are interchangeable to a degree. 2nd down and 10. Here comes the reverse to Omar Ellison. Ellison trying to outdance Zwanich. Gets thrown out of bounds at the 17-yard line after a gain of 2.
John Zwanich is really beginning to make a name for himself. He has become the guy who is the wild card, if you will, in the defensive scheme of Craig Bowl. They have him lined up all over the field. Ray Farmer back in the ball game. That's good for Duke. And he is making tons of tackles.
There's 3 today. Farmer does. And Zwanich has a bunch. Here's Cannell. The play fake. And pass is complete to Tiger McMillan. And he's going to be just short of the 1st down at the 10-yard line.
They're going to go for it. With the problems of late with the kicking department on 4th and short, they're going to run the ball, try and get or they're going to run a play and try and get the 1st down.
Up 14-0. Blessed with an interception. They're going to try to stick 6 in here, at least get the 1st down and put them in position to get a touchdown. They need to get the 8.5. They're at the 9.5 now. The crowd approves of the move. Here's Warwick Dunn. Dunn fumbles the football. Duke is going to pick it up. Granville gets on it at the 4-yard line. Now Zwanich picks it up and runs. And Zwanich is pulled out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Not only does the gamble backfire, but Duke gets field position from their defense.
They are number 4 in the country with 12 more turnovers created than given up. Dunn might have had the 1st down. Great hit by Ray Farmer to pop the ball loose. Billy Granville was just going to fall on it. Ball squirted away, and John Zwanich said, hey, you know, we can run with this ball, fellas. He takes it up the sidelines and not only stops the threat, but gives Duke its best field position all afternoon.
He says, we can run it because I did it last week for 62 yards.
What a hit on the ball by Ray Farmer.
And there's the takeaway difference right there. 1st and 10, Duke with their best field position of the day at the 43. Robert Baldwin trying to shake himself loose. Andre Wadsworth is there, and so are a host of others. I think Derek Alexander's at the bottom of the pile. There's John Zwanich. Over 100 yards and fumble return yardage this season.
Over 80 tackles on the year. He has been outstanding. On that first down play, you see again, Duke is going to have an awful lot of trouble getting this guy running room on straight handoffs inside the tackles.
2nd and 9. Fisher, that's the throw. Can't hit him again. Baldwin is the second leading receiver, second to Bill Kayat on the Duke squad.
Fisher 2 for 11 right now with the interception. Just 12 yards passing for the Duke offense. And really, I think that was the game plan defensively of Florida State. They were going to take Rob Baldwin out of the ball game, make Spence Fisher be the guy who has to get it done.
3rd down and 10. Duke trailing by 14. Florida State shows blitz. They've got a twist on. Fisher gets away from Bulware, but he doesn't get away from Derek Alexander. Brought down at the 35-yard line. It's a loss of 8.
Chuck Amato, the associate head coach and the defensive line coach, with a little game up front. The twist by the defensive lineman had a great effect on the blocking patterns, and eventually Derek Alexander gets his 2nd sack in as many weeks.
Almost getting through on Kruger. Here comes Colsey. James Colsey at the 20. Ball pops loose. Duke is going to pick it up. Touchdown! T.J. Redmond. For the 5th time this season, the Duke defense has turned a turnover into 6 points.
Unbelievable. On an afternoon in which their offense has been totally shut down, they are right back in the football game thanks to their uncanny ability to create turnovers. Ball popped free by number 32. That's Lamar Marshall. And T. John Redmond was the guy to pick up the loose ball and get the score.
The kick after is no good, and it's blocked. Special teams having problems at both ends of the field, but Duke is on the scoreboard thanks to the efforts of John Zwanich and T-John Redmond. They trail by 8.
Football means tailgate parties, and tailgate parties mean Food Lion. Their quality foods make every party a winner, because each week, Pepsi and Food Lion are giving away 5 tailgate party packages of 4 ACC football tickets and a $50 Food Lion gift certificate. Enter at the Pepsi display. Grand prize is the classic Jeep Cherokee Sport with 4-wheel drive and legendary Jeep toughness. Nothing beats football, food, and tailgate parties, and nobody beats Food Lion for quality and extra low prices.
Serious damage to your engine can happen during startups when your engine is cold. So for a motor oil to protect your engine, it must get to work fast. Exxon Superflow Synthetic Blend does. It also protects better against thermal breakdown, yet is less expensive than full synthetics. A difference you can see. Exxon Superflow Synthetic Blend. Protection beyond conventional oils for all the ways you drive.
When your job puts you in a world of hurt, you need powerful relief.
Power, BC Power.
No matter where you're hurting, you need the power of BC.
BC Power in the powder, the power of BC.
When you need strong relief, BC Powder stops pain fast.
The power of BC. If you got the money, honey, I've got the time. We'll go honky-tonk and we'll have a time. We'll have more fun, baby, all the way down the line. If you got the money, honey, I've got the time. You've got the money, honey, I've got the time.
T-John Redmond, the patriotic Punt return cover was there. The ball popped loose. Damon Wallace, or Lamar Wallace. And he went in for the touchdown. A return of about 5 yards all told. This is Rock Preston out to the 29-yard line. And that's where Florida State, probably a little bit shell-shocked.
Well, look at, excuse me, look at these numbers right now. If you had no idea what the score was, what do you think the score would be?
Well, it must be 3 touchdowns ahead of Duke.
Instead, 14-6, forcing the turnover to stop the touchdown, first of all, and then getting the turnover to get the touchdown keeps Duke in the game. But still a lot of concern that Duke offense, with just 19 yards of total offense, they know they can't keep operating that way if they're going to hang in this football game.
Florida State back at their own 30-yard line. 11:25 left to go here in this first half of play. A wild one. Cannell still got it. Cannell to McCorvey, complete to the 24-yard line. Boy, did Danny Cannell sell that play fake. 2, in fact, and McCorvey got an extra 5 yards downfield.
Great play fake, and then a great catch as well, because the coverage was pretty well despite all the excellent ball faking by Danny Cannell. It looked like he had handed off and was watching the crowd in the end zone.
Makes you want to be happy you brought your field glasses. First and 10 at the 24. Here's Cannell, straight drop back. First time he's done that today. He has Ellison in the end zone. Touchdown, Florida State.
Well, your team's in the hole, right? You just had 2 back-breaking turnovers. All of them in Duke's favor. 2 plays later, see you. 20-6.
First touchdown of the season.
Little rollout action this way, and then throw back against the defense. Ellison, you see Ray Farmer got caught following the quarterback's action, and Ellison got away from Jamal Ellis to make the score.
Here's Mowry for the kick. It is good. Everything starts to work now for Florida State. The touchdown by Ellison is first of the season, and Florida State now moves out in front with 10:45 left to go in the first half, 21-6.
Anyone tells you that time is money, we think time is a lot more valuable. That's why at First Union it matters so much how we handle your time. You need a fast response? You got it. Okay. You need account information? Call anytime, 24 hours a day. You want time to explore refinancing your home? We won't rush you. The point is, it's your time, and that matters. And at First Union, when it comes to service, everything matters.
Okay, these guys are the party people. I mean, look at them. They are hungry. So then these guys here, they're the host team. They send this guy over here to Hardee's for fresh fried chicken. It's the perfect play. Hardee's chicken deal is just $5.99. 8 pieces of chicken and 4 biscuits, only $5.99. Okay, watch the replay. 8 pieces of Hardee's chicken and 4 biscuits, only $5.99. So when these guys come rushing in, here's all this chicken to tackle. When you toss a party, make the big play. Have plenty of Hardee's fried chicken to pass around.
Ford flat puts the hurt on the competition. Did you realize that the Ford F-Series is America's #1 selling truck? You talk about total dominance. Baby, today, just like FSU, they're on top. The best built truck you'll find. Ford F-150, that's tough. And the price is going to be right. Your Southern Ford dealers have their priorities in order. To them, you're #1. Woo, boy.
The face of a friend knows where you're going, where you've been.
Ask your friends at First Federal Bank about our home equity plans. From home equity loans that allow you to borrow up to 90% of your home's total value to a home equity line of credit that gives you the freedom of having extra money available when you need it.
Along the way, a family friend
First Federal Bank in Tallahassee and Perry and Madison, a family friend.
Duke thought they'd gotten themselves back into this thing. Florida State strikes quickly. 2 passes. Danny Cannell, 1 of 48 to Kes McCorvey. Then the touchdown, a 24-yarder to Omar Ellison. Those are the 2 plays of the scoring drive that has Florida State up here, 21-6. We've seen just about everything in this first half. Here's Adam Geis. Geis, Travis Sherman brings him down at the 13-yard line. Danny Cannell, after doing very little of it last week, has gone vertical. Already 195 yards passing on the way to the 2 scores. Duke, because of the field position and really the way they have operated with Spence Fisher, they've not tried to do that too often. Down 15 points. There's going to come a time pretty soon here, Steve, in which they are going to have to extend their offense a little farther downfield if they can. They've only found their top yardage receiver, Corey Thomas, once. 1st and 10 at the 13. Fisher running out of the pocket and gets down wisely at the 18-yard line. So fashions himself a gain of about 5. One of the things Duke has to do effectively this afternoon is keep Derek Alexander off of Spence Fisher. The double team block there, and still Alexander nearly spun into a sack. Spun. I knew what you meant. Yeah, you knew what you meant. Well, you can't always get it right. I'm with you. 2nd down and 5. Fisher checking off the line of scrimmage. Hands off to Baldwin. And Baldwin gets hit by Andre Wadsworth and Darrell Bush. No gain on the play. Next Saturday, our Exxon ACC Games of the Week. It's Virginia at Duke, or some of you will see Florida State at Georgia Tech. Consult your local TV listings for the game that'll appear in your area. That's noon next week. Virginia at Duke or Florida State at Georgia Tech. Right here on your ACC station. 3rd down coming. 4 yards to go for Duke. The last 4 series, they've been 3 down tonight. They trail 21-6. Pass intercepted by Devin Bush. 2nd pass interception of the day for the Florida State defense. Pass intended for John Jensen. For Bush, it's his first pickoff of the year. Spence Fisher had been the model of efficiency, but against this great Florida State defense in terms of its quickness, Devin Bush steps in front of the intended receivers. You had 2 guys right in the same area, Kayat and Jensen. If that was the scheme, they got too close together and basically enabled Devin Bush to cover both men. So Fisher has completed 4 passes, but 2 to different colored jerseys. This will be the 3rd Florida State possession inside the Duke 30. Preston hit initially by Zwanich and Orlando Adwaters and finished off there by Billy Granville. Hard to say with nearly 9 minutes to go in the first half, but this is the series of the ball game for the Duke defense. They have to, at worst, allow a field goal. They can't let the Florida State offense get another score, but they're tired already. They've been out there a lot. Cannell locking it up against Packer. Being a flag on the play. Could be interference. Well, either defensive holding or pass interference on Jamal Ellis. He had a bear hug on Wayne Messam on the near sidelines. Saw the blitz package, wanted to run a fade route. Messam never got off the line of scrimmage because Ellis had him literally in a bear hug.
Holding on the defense, 10 yards, first down.
So there's the penalty. Jamal Ellis, the guilty party, and it'll be a 10-yarder marked off. Now that doesn't help the cause, so now people like Zaid Abdul-Alim and Ray Farmer and John Zwanich and Bernard Holsey, they have to figure out a way to stop this drive. Can they force another turnover? They don't want to fall 3 touchdowns behind.
First down, this time from the 19. Handoff goes to Rock Preston, and he is hit. Mike Stallmeyer, David Hawkins, and Bernard Holsey are there.
Stallmeyer, the redshirt junior out of Cincinnati, Ohio, number 98, being the lowest guy of the group. The low man always wins on the line of scrimmage. He pushed the pile back and never gave that run play any chance to get going.
Coming into this game, Florida State had been in the red zone 34 times, had scored 27 times. They are in here again. David Hawkins will have nothing of it. Fumble again, but it's been blown dead.
I think at the end of the play, Steve, McCorvey tried to throw the ball because that's what it was going to be. It was going to be an end-around pass. He had Omar Ellison in the back corner of the end zone. But the blitz takes this away, and he tried to see if he could make a throw, but the penetration by David Hawkins on the blitz, and he was down before the ball popped loose. Blitz the two outside linebackers, and Hawkins with great penetration.
So it's 3rd and 24. Ball is backed up to the 33-yard line. Cannell looking downfield, has McCorvey, and he nearly gets cut in half by Ray Farmer and Zaid Abdul-Alim.
Kez McCorvey drawing the attention of Ray Farmer, the free safety, as he plays center field. He knows how to do that. He's a pretty fair outfielder. And he and Zaid Abdul-Alim with the Seminole sandwich there.
I like that. You may see that in the concessions around here at Doak Campbell Stadium.
I'm sure they have it already.
4th down. Sean List to punt. Tries to pooch this one in tight. Dice gets away from it. Florida State cover it in time. No.
They had 7 guys there, and it was all, you take it, no, I'll get it, and nobody did.
Let's take a look at some other scores around the world of college football this afternoon. There's plenty of them on this active Saturday. Wisconsin in a Big Ten battle, leading at Michigan. There at Ann Arbor at the half.
Wow, that's a little bit of an upset there. Wisconsin's had their share of injuries this year. That would be a big upset at Ann Arbor.
And for all the scores, the teams that you want, then you can call the Jefferson Pilot scoreline. We'll give you the number here shortly. 1st and 10. Duke has the football back at their own 20-yard line. Down 21-6. Play action for Spence Fisher. He's hit as he releases. The hit put on by Travis Sherman. Sherman, who made the tackle on the previous punt.
I'll tell you right now, Mike Heimerdinger, the offensive coordinator for the Blue Devils, he's about into Chapter 7. Wow, look at that score. Nebraska at home with the big advantage. I would say Coach Dinger is into about Chapter 7 of the playbook, trying to find something to slow down this Florida State defense.
A flag in the play as Baldwin tries to get up inside the block of his center, Jerome Egg.
Then they threw another flag at the end, Steve, after the whistles had blown, and I don't know if that's going to be a separate penalty.
They're talking it over right now with Ron Cherry.
First one's obviously a holding call, but you might have an unsportsmanlike or personal foul at the end of the play that might change things.
Well, I hate it when the guy gets his pen out, takes the top off, and starts right, and now you know it's serious.
That's exactly what the call was. So what they will do, they will mark off the 10-yard penalty on the hold and then move it ahead 15 yards on the personal foul. So it'll be a net gain of 5.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards.
So they've taken it back, and now they'll bring it out to the 25. Duke's field position improving a little bit, but look at Florida State's.
Personal foul on the defense. First down.
Florida State has started 3 of their last 4 drives in Duke territory. And that's why their average looks so good at their whole 45. Brett Goldsmith, former defensive coach at Florida A&M University here in Tallahassee, has a lot of history here in the state of Florida. He's seeing his team trailing the Seminoles with 6:55 left to go here in the first half of play. Steve Martin, Jack Corrigan, Mike Hogwood, our Exxon ACC Game of the Week. And off goes to Rob Baldwin. Darren Brooks is in there on the tackle after Travis Sherman slowed him down. There's no gain on the 1st and 10 play. Baldwin has found the going tough this afternoon. ACC's leading rusher and 7th best in the country.
Baldwin coming in among the best in the country. You can see there have been 2 occasions, the Army game because he didn't play that much, and the Clemson game, the only times not in triple figures.
2nd down and 9. Baldwin again. Baldwin gets some running room. His 2nd most successful running play of the day. Julian Pittman, defensive end, trips him up. He's close to the first down, but not close enough.
Good lead block by David Lohman that time, who was in the backfield. That got Fisher some running room as he got a little bit of help from the springs.
3rd down and 2. Duke trailing 21-6. Baldwin again on the tackle. It's Orpheus Roy. No, Connell Spain there from Melbourne, Florida, the sophomore. The big stop on 3rd down brings the punting unit on.
Great penetration by Spain, the nose guard. Found a gap between guard and center, and he got to Baldwin as soon as the football did.
Oh, we have a new punt returner. Kes McCorvey is back in punt formation for Florida State. Kruger with the punt, nearly blocked. Devin Bush had it. McCorvey backed up, and not much running room there. Marshall is in on the tackle, and that's where Florida State will take over 1st and 10. We have a flag down on the field, however, at the 23. A flag down on the field at the 23. So this may determine where eventually Florida State will take the ball over.
Block in the back on the return team, 10 yards, 1st down.
So Florida State's in its deepest hole of the afternoon, but they lead it 21-6 with 4:53 left in the first half.
Considering what you go through to put on most jeans, who needs an exercise program? Try Lee, the brand that fits.
Now, to each man who shaves, there's an Edge all his own. Only Edge Gel has 8 custom formulas to fit every shaving need. From tough beards to sensitive skin. For a close, comfortable shave, get an edge of your own. Ultimate closeness, ultimate comfort. That's the Edge. And try improved Edge aftershave. Now more soothing than ever.
Here in the Outback, we play our own brand of football. Outback rules. No sidelines. No time limits. No telling which way the boomerang will bounce. Just the ultimate goal. Great steak. Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
If you want to be in a position of power, then get behind the wheel of a 1995 Jeep Grand Cherokee V8 with a powerful 220 horsepower engine, 6,500-pound towing capacity, standard driver's airbag, and 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. It lets you command power in any situation. The Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, the only thing more powerful is this deal.
See your Florida Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Back at Doug Campbell Stadium, Florida State with the football at their own 10. First and 10. Brock Preston is the tailback. He gets the call on first down, bounces out of the hole, and is on his way. Preston runs into Jamal Ellis, but he gets out to the 34-yard line, a gain of 24 on the play, a play that looked stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Well, there really wasn't any openings where the play was designed. But watch number 81 right there, Melvin Pearsall, seal off David Hawkins right here. And when Preston spins it back outside, there is nobody home. And it ends up being a big play. That's why a running back has to keep his eyes open and his feet moving.
Preston did just that. Duke showing blitz. Cannell gets rid of it just in time to McCorvey complete. McCorvey goes to the reserve fuel, and he's on his way to the 4-yard line. Ray Farmer with a touchdown-saving tackle. 62 yards downfield from Danny Cannell to Kez McCorvey.
Blitz was coming just as you described it, Steve, and Danny Cannell knew he was going to get the hit, but he said, if I can step up and let it go, I've got space in the middle. And Kez McCorvey was wide open as he split the safeties, Abdul Alim and Farmer. Ray Farmer recovering to stop the touchdown, but it's first and goal at the Duke 5.
He's had several big plays this afternoon, as has Ray Farmer. And off goes to Crawford. Touchdown, Seminole.
What a day for Kez McCorvey and Danny Cannell. Zach Crockett gets the score. Florida State with 318 yards of total offense in the first half. McCorvey with 195 of the 257 that Cannell has passing in the first half.
Most fun you can have without scoring a touchdown right there for Kez McCorvey. He set up 2 touchdowns, and here comes Dan Mowry for the kick out of the hold of Danny Cannell. Andy Crow is the long snapper. Kick is good.
That's the second time this afternoon that Florida State has gone long distance in few plays. They had a long drive of 2 plays, a long drive of 3 plays. Again, the big push up front, and Zach Crockett is 245 pounds, a load, running dead up